In this video, we're going to take a look at what memory bloat is and how you can use Scout to eliminate it from your applications. Memory-related performance issues have the potential to bring your entire application down, and yet most APMs completely ignore this fact and fail to provide any useful monitoring of memory usage at all. At Scout, we understand the importance of memory monitoring and have added many useful features throughout our APM tool to help give you the visibility and peace of mind that you need. So what is memory bloat? When we talk about memory bloat, we're referring to the way in which a web request or background job triggers a sharp increase in memory. Now, if there happens to be enough memory allocated to service the request at this time, then usually this event can go unnoticed. But in the scenario when this memory is not currently allocated, a sudden spike will occur as the language and framework allocates this new memory. Now, the real issue here is that after this allocation has occurred, the memory isn't necessarily unallocated again for quite some time usually, so these events can cripple your application and bring it down completely if you're not careful. The exact behavior will obviously vary between language and framework, but the principle remains the same. Memory bloat is different from what we call a memory leak, which is often a slow and gradual increase which lasts until the application is restarted. Memory leaks can be notoriously difficult to track down, but they're relatively easy to work around in the meantime. Whereas cases of memory bloat, on the other hand, they're often quite easy to fix, but they're really dangerous. So, where's a good place to start when you're thinking about how to eliminate memory bloat from your application? Well, my advice is to try to focus on those endpoints that trigger the most memory allocations in a single request, rather than those which have a high throughput and a higher average of allocations over a longer period of time. In this case, that's endpoint B. As you can see, there's a huge jump the second time it's accessed, whereas endpoint A here is consistently allocating the same amount each time. Now, endpoints like endpoint B are typically the type of endpoints which, when they're accessed by a big user, it'll cause a dangerous memory allocation spike. So how can you use Scout to help you identify cases of memory bloat in your application? Well, if you're installing Scout for the first time, then we always recommend that you take a look at the Insights tabs at the bottom of the main page. Here we've got N+1 Insights, Slow Query Insights, and Memory Bloat Insights. Now, the Memory Bloat Insights tab is really useful because it does the hard work of finding memory bloat for you. So we have a list here of all occasions where we've had high memory bloat. We've got a link to the endpoint for more details. We can see when it first occurred. We can see if it was triggered by multiple users or a single user. This is particularly important if you're trying to identify a super user triggering a memory bloat incident. And then finally, we've got the amount of memory that it increased by. Unlike most APMs, in Scout, full memory allocation breakdowns are provided on all our traces alongside the usual time breakdowns. This gives you an extra layer of visibility and allows you to see how much memory was allocated at each layer of a given web request or background job. Now, in this example, we can see that a lot of allocations seem to happen in the view layer. Now, this is pretty typical of a memory bloat event. Usually some inefficient loading happens before, like here we can see these two N+1s, and the results are seen at the next stage, where this is turned into that dynamic HTML. So let's now take a look at another useful memory monitoring feature of Scout. Let's say you want to get a general sense for memory in your application and find out which endpoints or background jobs are causing the most allocations. In this scenario, the web endpoints page and background job pages have a really useful feature. Over here we have the max allocations, which we can actually filter by. So as you can see, it's really simple to find out which is the most memory intensive endpoint. If you then click through into an endpoint and look at the details, there are also some other useful memory features here. By default, we show the response time and throughput, but we can also show the max allocations. Finally, if you want to look at individual web requests to this endpoint, what we call traces, you might usually filter them by slowest response time, but you can also change this to most allocations, which is quite a useful feature. As you can see, the root cause of memory bloat is not as obvious as you might have first thought, and that's why an APM solution like Scout can be vital to ensuring you have that peace of mind. Scout enables you to quickly identify sources of memory bloat, and it gives you full visibility on the memory of all requests in your application. If you're not already using Scout, then why not sign up today for a free 14-day trial and start finding and fixing your memory bloat issues today.